Dizziness is one of those disconcerting sensations that robs you of your sense of balance, it robs you of your sense of the 3D world around you, and can make you feel really off balance and off put. And so today I'm giving you my top 3 tips in regards to vestibular migraines, which are our dizziness migraines. Hi, I'm Dr. Beth, osteopath here at Melbourne Headache Solutions. So as I said, dizziness can give us a sense of uncertainty, feeling unsafe, and also a high level of anxiety as well. So today I'm talking about my top 3 tips in regards to those dizziness migraines, those vestibular migraines. If you're suffering with vestibular migraines, drop a comment below, let us know. And if you've got any questions or queries about them, please let us know as well. So my top tip in regards to vestibular migraines is that basically we need to really make sure that you are suffering from a vestibular migraine and not a vestibular disorder. So in terms of vestibular migraines, they need to be treated in one way, and vestibular disorders need to be treated in another way. So with vestibular migraines, we do know that there is a really strong component of the neck causing these types of migraines, and so it needs to be treated in that kind of way. When it comes time for a vestibular disorder, however, then these need more of a vestibular rehab approach in terms of doing exercises to help recalibrate your vestibular system. So input from your eyes, your ears, portions of your brain sometimes get a little bit confused, and instead of the signals lining up, they can get mismatched and create dizziness instead. So we need to really make sure that you have the accurate diagnosis in terms of your dizziness, because quite often we see that people are getting misdiagnosed, therefore their treatment is being mismanaged, and therefore that's why you're not seeing the results that you're getting. So we need to make sure that you actually have the right diagnosis. So that is my first tip. Make sure that you do actually have the right diagnosis for your dizziness condition. So the second one is, regardless of what dizziness condition you do have, whether it's a vestibular migraine or a vestibular disorder, we do know that there is a high level of anxiety that can come with any sense of dizziness. The really nasty thing that comes with dizziness, though, is that dizziness can create anxiety. However, anxiety does increase dizziness, which is, as I said, it's really nasty because it feeds into this really nasty cycle. So when we get higher levels of anxiety, our dizziness increases, and then our anxiety increases, and our dizziness increases, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So one thing that we really do want to do is we want to make sure that our anxiety stays at a lower level, which means that our dizziness is going to stay at a lower level. So we can do lovely things like doing things like guided meditation, being aware that when we are dizzy, our anxiety is likely to increase. So being okay with the dizziness, rolling with the dizziness as opposed to trying to fight the dizziness. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have to be okay that you are going to have the dizziness for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm saying. You don't need to have the dizziness for the rest of your life. However, instead of fighting it and being angry with it, saying, okay, I have the dizziness, but I'm going to breathe through it. It will pass. This episode will pass, as opposed to, as I said, like fighting it. I'm trying to fight it. I'm trying to make it go away, because this will amp up your system, increase the dizziness, and the dizziness is more likely to stay with you. And we want it gone as quickly as possible. So as I said, doing things like guided meditation, if you feel up to it, doing something like yoga, deep breathing if you can't move with your dizziness, anything that you can do to relax your system and keep your anxiety at a lower level will help your dizziness pass quicker. The third thing as well, my third tip is basically trying to identify your triggers. If you don't know what your triggers are, one of the biggest triggers for vestibular migraines or dizzy people is being in crowded environments. So going into things like shopping centers or supermarkets, anything that's visually stimulating. For some people, it's going into restaurants. Or being around like really bright environments. Anything that's really visually stimulating is something that's quite likely to set you off. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to avoid these places, but it does mean that if you can recognize that these places are more likely to increase your dizziness, then being Forewarned is forearmed. So it means that, as I said, it feeds into the anxiety portion. If you know that you're going to go to the supermarket and it means that your dizziness is more likely to increase, then it can help decrease the anxiety. You can take it out of there, as opposed to you go to the supermarket and then all of a sudden your dizziness increases and you don't know why it has increased. But if you know that a busy environment is more likely to increase your dizziness, then you go, okay, I know that it's more likely to increase. This is okay. It did increase. This is okay. And it is likely to pass, or it is likely to settle once I am out of this environment. So these are my top 3 tips. So 1, make sure that you've got the right diagnosis as to whether it is a vestibular migraine or a vestibular disorder, so that you know which way it needs to be treated. 2, make sure that you're doing something to actively work on anxiety to make sure that it's at a lower level. And also 3, help to identify your triggers, and if you don't know what they are, then, as I said, busy environments or visually stimulating environments are more likely to set off the dizziness. So knowing what they are, being able to identify them, can also help to calm you and your system down as well. So those are my top 3 tips. If you've got any questions or queries about vestibular migraines or dizziness, please drop them below. And if you've got any tips as well for other people suffering with dizziness or vestibular migraines, please also drop them down below. Anything that can help anybody is always more than welcome. I hope you found this useful, and as we've been saying this month, June is Migraine Awareness Month, so please help us share the awareness this month. Thanks guys, I'll catch you next time.